let's talk about stackable events and transforming transformation. I promise I will stitch those two together. We will get there. First, though, let me just say this. This is for entertainment purposes only, and if I refer to any events, we're going to call them alleged. Also, I just want to state for the record that depending upon what happens to TikTok, I am also over on YouTube. You're totally welcome to join me over on YouTube if TikTok goes through a blink out for just a period of time. Okay, let's get to it. Let's start with story time. Story time is that about a month ago, Spirit team came to me and said, Dana, we need you to do some t-shirt shopping. And I said, I don't need to do any t-shirt shopping. I'm fine on t-shirts. They're like, we need you to go t-shirt shopping anyway. This is the push back and forth that happens. So I went to Amazon, ticky-tappy, and tapped in women's t-shirts. I'm like, okay, Spirit team, what am I looking for? And they said butterflies. And so I typed in butterflies, and guess what popped up? This beauty popped up right here, and I want you to take a very close look at it. Take a very close look at it, and what do you notice about it? It's very interesting that here on the right side, it's fairly clear that this is the butterfly form, and over here on this beautiful left side, we've got flowers and more transformation going on. And when I purchased it, I just thought it was pretty and colorful, and I love these colors, and so I went ahead and got it because Spirit Team wanted me to do that. But then when it showed up in the mail and I pulled it out of the package, and I was like, oh, look at that. And for those of you who don't know, animals are totems. They're symbolic. Like when certain animals show up, they are speaking to us through their symbolism. Like when a raccoon shows up, that's about masking. When a hawk shows up, that's about messenger. When a bee shows up, that's about the tenacity and how you can accomplish the impossible. Well, when a butterfly shows up, it's about transformation. So when I pulled this t-shirt out of the package, I'm like, beautiful symbol of transformation. And then I got to looking at it a lot closer, and I'm like, oh, transformation is transforming. And it gave me kind of I was like, lean in, oh, that's cool. And then a lean out of like, oh, that's a little unsettling. And so what I want to share here with you is this time that we're in, and especially the time that we're headed into in 2025, this landscape of the transformation that we've always been used to in the 3D world and maybe even the 4D world, we are now moving into a new time of transformation at whole other levels in a multidimensional space that we've never had access to before, that we're not used to. It's like we've got this, but we really don't quite have the user's manual on it yet. And so I am standing here in front of you today with this beautiful image to let you know that we are in and we are on the brink of our transformational powers transforming to a whole other level. So we're going to set the stage with that. So from here, I need to talk with you about some potential unsettling events, okay? And what you need to know is that when we arrive into those places of taking on our greater emotional powers and energetic powers and multidimensional powers, like things we really do want to do and have, it also comes with the responsibility of peering into the shadow or having the shadow reveal what we hadn't seen before. Like anytime you take a leap into a higher vibrational space or more ability, you're always going to go through a shadow period of things that may be unseemly or uncomfortable. They may be revealed to you. And I really, truly believe that even though we've been seeing a lot and even though we've been doing a lot coming through into our new timeline jumps and new energies, and we've all been working on this very much for quite some time, I believe we are going to go through an epic moment of this, an epic snapshot in time of this, where we really, truly are going to be leaving an old space behind and coming into a really amazing, new, wonderful space. I really do believe that's going to happen. But to get from there to the new space, I sense and I see there's going to be some tumult. There's going to be some bumpy ride. There's going to be some potentially frightening things that we move through as shadow world is revealed to us more, exorcisms begin to happen more. We're going to literally be living a collective, shamanic, shadow world ride from the old space into the new space. I think you can feel it. I know I can feel it. There's this ripeness in the air, and it really is now coming to a head with the Los Angeles fires. Like, we know looking at those fires that something is not right. Sure, it's the Santa Ana winds. Sure, it is dry. But there are reports coming out of abnormalities and things not quite right and things not lining up in a natural wildfire. One of the other reports that I have seen on the ground, people who were like right up near the fire happening, I saw a reporter reporting on this. She said, I was watching the flames happening, and in the middle of a flame, an explosion happened. That's not normal fire burning, especially when it's just like a bush. If a normal bush is burning, it's just going to burn. A bush does not burn and then halfway through explode. And there are reports of that. I'm just intuitively putting two and two together here that there are some powers at work doing things that are creating abnormal situations for us. Also on the alleged front, I also have reason to believe anomalous events that seem to be happening a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more and more intensely and at higher levels. I believe it's connected to what we are potentially going to see coming from a legal nature concerning the transition of our government and power. And the closer we get to this event of potential wrist bracelets being placed on certain people, we are seeing an escalation of really disconcerting public safety events happening here in the United States, if not in some other parts of the world as well. And I believe these events are, and again, allegedly, are powers behind the scenes that don't want a certain transition of power to happen. And they've been doing threatening, and I believe will continue to do even more threatening events to try and stop the transformation. Okay? So let me get to the core message where I stitch together this transformation is transforming and also the shadow world piece and the threshold level. So what we're doing spiritually is like we're cruising along 5D, new timelines, higher vibration. We're cruising along. And in our physical living world, we're having more random events go on. It's intensifying. We're seeing this upturning of transition of power. It may go one way. It may go the other way. We're uncertain about it. And we're just about ready to reach the threshold. We're just about ready to reach the threshold where all the unknowns that have been shifting around and we're not quite sure about, and some is shadow and some is obvious, we're just right about at the space of all of that coming to fruition. Like certain actions being taken, certain wrist bracelets being applied to certain people. And as that's happening, we're also experiencing this more greater intensification of shadow world playing around and doing really weird stuff at more intense levels and playing with us and threatening us. And what I believe is the American public is both hostage and plundered treasure. We're playing both of those roles at the same time, and this threat keeps coming in and saying, don't you dare do what you're going to do because I'm going to threaten and hurt the American public. And we've got all of these different weird things going on at play. We're just about ready to hit the threshold level where it all gets revealed, where it all goes boom. Here it is. This is what's going on. All the cards begin to get played. The shadows get revealed. They all come out. And we're literally going to live through the transforming, like the whole double entendre on the whole thing. And so what I really want to get in front of you today and say is we're right at the edge of that. Like, I believe we're going to begin to see the action of that next week, the week of the 13th. And then after that, we're going to begin to live through some fallout. And even though we want to head in a certain direction, the fallout that's going to be bumpy might not be so fun. It may be uncomfortable and scary and, oh my God, what are we doing? And we may see more dark before the true light, okay? And so I am getting in front of you to give you like a little bit of a heads up and more warning on that we're going to live through the physical living of this, not just the conceptual energetics of the spirituality. We're going to live through the physical living of this. And I want you to be as aware as possible of that. And your awareness that I want to call up to you is first a situational awareness. If you're not already doing it, I really encourage that you have a situational awareness of your living, your space, your community, and being very aware of what's going on around you at all times. That is going to be incredibly important, especially over the next couple of weeks, okay? Second, I want you to be incredibly aware of your intuition. If your intuition is talking to you about, oh, we really need you to do that, or we really need you to do that, and it seems a bit irrational, please do not disregard it. Now, more than ever, this is the time to pay attention. And if your intuition is saying, probably don't need to go to work today, don't effing go to work. Or, hey, we might want to pick up a little bit more water, pick up a little bit more water. It's going to be different for everybody in different locations. I don't think any two people are going to have the same call out on intuition, except to know that things are changing and that there's certain things you need to take care of in your own living space to make sure you are safe and taken care of, that your family is safe and taken care of. And so if you are getting certain tugs, you need to pay attention to those, okay? The third thing, and you can use your discernment on this and take it for what it's will, but me as a working psychic on the ground, if I don't say something, I won't be able to live with myself. And the part that I won't be able to live with is that I believe once certain actions and events begin to happen next week, I believe that the 8-headed monster in Shadowland that has been toying and playing with us, I believe that is going to rear up one last time and do some really shitty things, okay? I would not be surprised if part of our power grid went down. I would not be surprised if part of our water got messed with. I would not be surprised if there were threats, certain kind of threats. Now, here's the good news. The good news is I don't think it's going to last for long. I think it's about a 10-day window. And it's going to affect different people at different times. And so if this begins to happen and you see something going on with power or water, distribution, the distribution grid, that may be a part of this, that may be interrupted. If you see that going on, what I want you to know is do not lose your cool. You got to keep your cool. You need to stay grounded. You need to stay with your wherewithal with everything that's going on. And you need to be staying tuned into what are my best actions in the moment for myself and my family. And for a lot of us, this is going to be being stationary, staying in place, and staying very calm and just waiting it out. For some of it's going to be like that. It's just stay calm, stay in place, wait it out. Okay, we don't have communications. That may happen for a few days. We just need to be able to stay calm, wait it out. Some of us may need to be on the move. It's just going to depend on the region. I don't know, but I do believe all of this is going to have a book into it. It will not last long. On the short end, I think it'll last a couple days. On the long end, I think it'll last about 10 days. When we come out the other side, we're going to be a stone's throw from February, and I really truly believe February is solid landing grounds. February is when things begin to come together, and March, I believe, is when we will see ourselves install a new certain lady who wears blue in a place that has columns in the front of the house. That's what I believe eventually is going to happen. But I do believe we are going to go for a ride, and this ride is going to be more than conceptual, more than energetic, more than emotional. I believe some of us are going to be dealing with some of the physical fallout for it. So tune into your intuition, tune into your discretion, know what you need to do to keep yourself and your family safe. Put in whatever supplies or water or cash that you think you need to. I don't think you need to go overboard. This is it's going to be a temporary situation. When we get through to the other side, the landscape is going to be completely different, because you know why? Transformation itself is transforming. We are going to be going through one of the most transformative events of our lives as an entire collective. And the last thing I want to say about this before I sign out, the 8-headed monster that's been hiding in that shadow for so long does not care if you wear a red hat or a blue shirt. Does not care, does not give a flying rip about that. So in the heat of the moment, neighbor to neighbor, we need to be very aware of helping one another out, because there are going to be things that happen that are not political, period. Initially, there's going to be some people that think it is political. This is so far beyond that, people. It is so far beyond that. And if you are a little bit bent out of shape, that a psychic is giving you these warnings and that public officials are not, let me say this. Our very top public officials have been sworn to secrecy because legally they cannot talk about what's happening because it will disrupt the entire process. And I want you to put yourself in their shoes for a moment, especially the really good ones. These are people who have given an oath to defend our country. And if defending our country meant staying quiet, can you imagine what that's doing to them? That they can't warn us, that they can't let us know what's really going on, and all they can do is talk to us in code. Can you imagine the burden, walking around with the burden of that every single day? So before you get bent out of shape, put yourself in their shoes. And this is the place where we're all going to have to work together, even if we have to speak in code to be able to get through this thing. All right. Now that I've got the message done, I hope you take the bits and pieces of it that resonate for you and work for you. I hope you discern it. Some of it may be appropriate. Some of it may not be. But me being a working psychic on the ground, this is my job, to get the news and the information out that I see going on. And if it helps people, if it saves some lives, if it keeps some people from getting hurt, then I did my job. All right. Heads up, everybody. Here we go. I will see you in the next video. Mwah.